Did you know that in ancient times, people could live for thousands of years? It was recently discovered that a man who lived in what is today Turkey died at the ripe age of 235. What's even more shocking is that he wasn't even the oldest person to have ever lived. This may come as a shock to you, but there are many historical records that prove that this was possible. And it's all because of one very special fruit. Before we begin, make sure to hit that like button for more videos. Also, stay until the end to find out how you can get a free gift from us. The discovery of this 235-year-old man's body was made by archaeologists who were excavating an ancient burial site. They were shocked to find such a well-preserved body, especially since it was discovered with its organs still intact. This led them to conclude that this man died very suddenly, and that he must have been extremely healthy in order to live for so long. According to the doctors who examined the body, the man died at the age of 235 due to complications from a farming accident. He had been gored in the chest by a pitchfork while working in the fields. Had he received modern medical treatment, he likely would have survived. But unfortunately, this was not an option for him. The accident caused a punctured lung and a small hole in his heart, which eventually led to his death. But again, what makes this story truly remarkable is that this man wasn't even the oldest person to have ever lived. There are many historical records that prove that people could live for hundreds of years if they consumed a special fruit. This fruit is known as the fruit of immortality, or the longevity fruit, and it was said to be so powerful that it could grant eternal life to anyone who ate it. Of course, this is just a legend, but there may be some truth to it. After all, there are many reports of people who have lived for over 100 years, and many of them attribute their long lives to the consumption of this mysterious fruit. The fruit is said to grow only in a remote part of China, and its exact location is a closely guarded secret. According to legend, the fruit tastes like a strong blue cheese with some pharmaceutical notes. It has a very pungent odor and should only be consumed in small doses. Despite its unpleasant taste and smell, many people are willing to risk it all in order to get their hands on this fruit. After all, who wouldn't want to live forever? So if you ever find yourself in China, be sure to keep your eyes peeled for this mysterious fruit. You never know. It could be the key to immortality. Thank you for watching. And remember, if you want to learn more about amazing history, stay tuned for more updates. Okay, here's a fact from history that I bet you won't forget. Between 1913 to 1915, people could mail babies via the U.S. Postal Service. You heard that right. The government would transport your children from one state to another via the U.S. Postal Service. This all started when an Ohio couple tried to send their newborn baby to their relatives in California to help take care of him since they couldn't afford a babysitter. They simply took their baby to the nearest post office and dropped him off. A few days later, a healthy baby was delivered right to their doorstep. Word got around, and soon enough, other parents started doing the same thing. This led to the creation of the baby mail program, which allowed parents to send their children via the U.S. Postal Service for only 15 cents. All the baby needed was a small box, some padding, and a note with information about the child. The program even had its own website, where you could look up your child's delivery status. But this all came to an end when a woman tried to mail her baby in a coffin. That's right, this woman actually tried to mail her dead baby. Apparently, she was fed up with taking care of him and decided that the best way to get rid of him was to send him through the U.S. Postal Service. When the post office workers found out, they immediately shut down the program and arrested the woman. This was a dark time for America, and to this day, no one knows exactly how many babies were mailed during those 3 years. But what do you think? Would you ever mail a baby? Let me know in the comments below. Now stay tuned, because I'm going to tell you another fact from history that I bet you won't forget. Ancient Greek and Roman statues were actually brilliantly colored, and not just bare marble or stone. In fact, most of the statues you see in museums today have lost their color because of natural erosion and weathering over the centuries. But it wasn't always like this. The ancient Greeks and Romans loved to paint their statues in bright colors, often using gold leafing techniques to add a touch of luxury. Unfortunately, most of these statues are now in a state of preservation, meaning that they've lost their color and texture, leaving us with a distorted view of what they once looked like. However, there is hope. Some scientists are working on ways to restore the color of these statues using advanced imaging techniques. If successful, this could give us a glimpse into the world of ancient Greece and Rome, and help us appreciate these masterpieces in a whole new light. So, what do you think? Would you want to see statues of ancient Greece and Rome in their original colors? Let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more amazing facts from history. You know what? You're absolutely right. It was just an example of the type of things that we'll be covering in today's video. So let's just get straight into it. Here are 5 crazy history facts that will blow your mind. Part 3. Ancient Greek and Roman statues were actually brilliantly colored, and not just bare marble or stone. Most people think of ancient statues as being bare marble or stone, but this is actually not true. The ancient Greeks and Romans loved to paint their statues, but over time, the paint has worn off most of them. However, some statues have retained their color, such as the Discobolus, also known as the discus thrower. This statue is a famous example of Greek sculpture from around 400 BC. Originally, it was brilliantly colored, but over the years, the paint has worn off, and now it is mostly bare marble. Another example is the famous Roman statue of Augustus, the first emperor of Rome. The statue was originally painted with vibrant colors, but today only a few traces of paint remain. It is believed that the paint was lost due to pollution and acid rain, which eroded the surface of the statue. Today, statues are protected from the elements and are kept indoors to prevent this from happening again. But it's still amazing to think that some of the most famous statues in the world were once brilliantly colored works of art. Ancient Thebes once assembled an elite military force consisting of 150 pairs of gay male lovers. The Theban army was famous throughout Greece for its bravery and military prowess. But what is often forgotten is that the Theban army was also one of the most diverse militaries of its time. The Theban army had a large number of gay male soldiers who fought alongside each other in pairs. These soldiers were not seen as outcasts or inferior to other soldiers, but rather as an integral part of the military. They were highly trained and skilled fighters who were respected by their comrades. One of the most famous examples of these pairs was the Theban Sacred Band, a group of 150 pairs of gay male lovers who fought together in the Battle of Tagera in 395 BC. The band was said to have been invincible in battle, and their presence on the battlefield was a source of great pride for the Thebans. The Theban army was eventually disbanded after the Theban hegemony came to an end in 362 BC. But the legacy of the Theban army, including its gay soldiers, lives on in history. The story of the Theban army shows that ancient Thebes was a remarkably progressive society for its time, and that gay soldiers were accepted and respected in ancient Thebes. This is in stark contrast to the rest of ancient Greece, where homosexuality was often frowned upon and even persecuted. Genghis Khan's Mongol Empire stretched from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe, making it the largest contiguous land empire in history. At its peak, the Mongol Empire stretched from the Pacific Ocean to Eastern Europe, encompassing much of Asia and a large part of Russia. This vast empire was the largest contiguous land empire in history. Genghis Khan was a brilliant military leader, and his Mongol armies were known for their speed and brutality. Under his leadership, the Mongols conquered many different lands and peoples, from China to Poland. The Mongol Empire was a truly global one, connecting different cultures and peoples in ways that had never been seen before. For example, the Mongols were responsible for the first known use of gunpowder in Europe. They also introduced new technologies and ideas to the cultures they conquered. Despite its size and power, the Mongol Empire did not last long. Internal conflicts and rivalries eventually led to the empire's collapse in the early 13th century. However, the impact of the Mongol Empire on world history is undeniable. The Mongols changed the way that people lived and interacted with each other on a global scale. They also left a lasting legacy of military innovation and cultural exchange. The Austrian army once mistakenly attacked and fought against themselves during the Battle of Karansebes. The Battle of Karansebes was fought in 1764 between the Austrians and the Ottoman Turks. The confusion led to hundreds of casualties, and the battle ended in a stalemate. The battle was part of the larger Russo-Turkish War, which was fought between the Russian and Ottoman empires over control of the Black Sea. The Austrians were part of a larger coalition of European powers that had come to assist the Russians in their war against the Ottomans. The battle took place near the town of Karansebes in modern-day Romania. The Austrian and Turkish forces were both under the command of experienced generals, and the battle was fiercely contested. However, the battle took a bizarre turn when a group of Austrian soldiers mistakenly attacked and fought against their own comrades. The confusion led to hundreds of casualties, and the battle eventually ended in a stalemate. The incident is now known as the Battle of Karansebes, or the Battle of the Confusions. It remains one of the most unusual and embarrassing episodes in military history. In the Ottoman Empire, the Sultan's wife could only eat her cucumbers chopped so that she wouldn't harm herself. The Ottoman Empire was a vast and powerful state that lasted for centuries. During its peak, the empire was home to a rich and diverse culture that influenced the world in many ways. However, life in the Ottoman Empire was not always easy, and there were many dangers and challenges that the people faced. One of the most peculiar customs of the Ottoman court was the Sultan's wife's obsession with chopped cucumbers. To protect the Sultan's wife from harming herself, the cucumbers had to be chopped very small, so that she would not accidentally injure herself while eating them. This may seem like a strange and unnecessary precaution, but it was likely a result of the intense pressure and scrutiny that the women in the royal court faced. It was important for the Sultan's wife to maintain her beauty and avoid any accidents that could damage her reputation. The custom of serving chopped cucumbers was likely a way to ensure that the Sultan's wife could enjoy her favorite food without risking her safety or her image. Although it may seem amusing to us today, this custom was a reflection of the harsh realities of life in the Ottoman Empire. For more videos, check out Part 1 and Part 2. And if you like this video, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss any future uploads. Thanks for watching.